Hello everyone. Today at Virtuality Studios, we have Dennis Kight. Dennis is a certified executive coach with over 25 years in international experience. He has worked with the likes of IBM, Motorola, and Cisco Systems. He has his master's in organizational psychology and is passionate about helping people unlock their potential. Today, we will be discussing how VR can be incorporated in his industry. All right, cool. So Dennis, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you just mind explaining to me what your role is as an executive coach?
Looking at an executive coach from a very short perspective, my role is to make sure that my clients achieve their goals and actually experience success beyond what they had imagined that they would. Ultimately, 6 months from now, they want to change a specific behavior. So then we'll put a plan into place that actually looks at how do we break that down into smaller, manageable pieces, and then we track our success as we reach to that ultimate goal. But it's all based off of what the client is interested in.
And what are some of the problems that you've faced or like fears that you've come across in people that you feel that VR can be a solution for?
I think a good one is, again, when you look at fears, the fear of loneliness is number one for humans, the fear of death is number two, and the fear of public speaking is number three.
Wow, all of them in the
that
same
actually
category.
comes before the fear of spiders and cockroaches, and is number four. But anyway, a lot of people have a fear of public speaking. And so I see virtual reality as a way of being able to help people overcome that.
I've used one of those public speaking VR apps, and I think like the crowd actually interacts with you to an extent. So I think the fact that it's lifelike, it's a simulation of what you would be experiencing is really helpful. Okay, great. And how do you think VR technology can help people in your industry achieve goals with their clients?
Well, within the coaching industry, there's a really strict number of hours that you have to achieve through training. And then there's also, at the very minimum for certification, you have to have 100 hours of live coaching experience as well. In addition to that, there are 10 hours of mentor coaching that you need to do. So I think practicing some of that live coaching through virtual reality, or even actually doing the mentor coaching, which can be quite expensive to do. It's a 10-hour process that you go through. But I think having virtual reality where you're coaching and the VR is actually kind of grading you and giving you suggestions on how you can improve your coaching, how you can ask a question in a better way, things like that, I think could be a great way of implementing it within the coaching industry.
That's great. And what other innovations are impacting your industry at the moment? What other technology is helping coaches with their clients or helping coaches with their own training?
I think for helping coaches with clients, and this is the way that I've set up my business, is really leveraging technology. So I have a client who's in Lebanon, and we do sessions via Zoom. I have a client in Australia, and we have sessions via Zoom as well. So I've met them. I like to meet my clients in advance, make sure that they're open to coaching, and that there's a chemistry between us. And then we start the coaching process. And with my experience working in technology companies, I've had to learn how to actually develop chemistry with someone virtually. When you sit down and think of it, there's probably so many different applications. I saw on your website the other day, the turkey carving, which was cool. Because when you are the man of the house and you have to carve a turkey, you learn by actually doing it. And it's a big thing in the US for Thanksgiving of carving a turkey, and everyone is looking at you and you're like, okay, where the heck do I start to cut and things? And so looking at it from a virtual reality perspective, you make this cut first, then you do this, and then you do this, and you can do it without actually destroying the turkey in the process.
Exactly. That's one thing we found out with training is it saves so much time, but also money as well, because you get the real experience, but without the risk. So yeah, like you said, you're in a real life situation where you're doing it, but you're not destroying anything, and the mistakes you make are in a safe environment.
Exactly.
So executive coaching is a very personal interaction. do you think VR could hinder that during the training process?
I think it could if you don't program in advance maybe some different options, and then also setting the stage. It could be that, for example, if I were helping someone to become a more effective communicator, and I could say, so the audience that you're going to be communicating to is very receptive of this. How would you communicate this? In another situation, the audience is not going to be receptive to it. How would you then communicate in those ways? What are the differences that you would do between the two? And I think that if that's built into the programming before, and it becomes more fluid, almost like artificial intelligence, then I think that you eliminate that kind of static, I'm talking to a machine at the end of the day type of thing, and it becomes I'm actually talking with another person.
So Dennis, it's been a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more industry discussions.